a geometric application of definite integrals, specifically on getting the area of plane region of area under a curve that we encounter in our physics class is the graph of force versus displacement. So, for example, if we have here a particle moving from x sub 1 to x sub 2 in response to a changing force in the x direction. So, the force is changing. So, if we're going to graph this, the function is not linear, right? So, if it's not linear, then how do we get the work done on the object? So, if only the function is linear, so we simply multiply the applied force by the displacement, and the work done is represented with a rectangular region. So imagine a straight horizontal line from x sub 1 to x sub 2. So it's the length of the rectangular region, and then the width would be the magnitude of the applied force that is constant. The area of that rectangle is the work done on the object or the particle. But if the magnitude of the applied force is changing, is increasing for this example, then the area here, the pink area, represents the work done on the object by the varying force or the changing force. So how do we get this area? We can create strips, okay, or rectangles to represent the work done on the object. So the height of each strip represents the average force for that interval. So for this interval, delta x sub A, so the height here of the pink strip is the average force. And for this next interval labeled delta x sub B, so the magnitude of the force is increased. For delta x sub C increased. But as you can see, there are spaces, okay, that are not included. Okay, so if we're going to add all the strips areas, so we get an inexact value of the work done on the object. Okay, so what we do is we make the delta x very small. So we make the width of the strip very small to include these spaces here. So this is what the concept of integration, okay, is used in this particular application. Okay, so we are going to transform the delta x into differential of x. Okay, so we let the change in x approach 0. Okay, so we are going to transform this equation into a definite integral. Okay, so the function multiplied to the differential of x, the width of the vertical strip, okay, and then evaluating from x sub 1 to x sub 2. So from this point to this point. Supposing we have this curve and another curve, and we want to know the area between them or the area bounded by them. So let's first label them. So if the function is a function of x, so we can label it as y equals f of x. And we'll use a subscript u, meaning upper. And for the other one, so we'll use L for lower, which is also a function of x. So to get this area here bounded by the two curves, so we're going to draw, let's say, vertical strips. Okay, and then to represent those strips, we can draw one and we'll get its length and multiply it later with dx, which is the width, okay, of the vertical strip. So how do we solve for the length of that vertical strip? So let's say I'll put it at the side. Okay, and then we know from geometry that a point, okay, has x and y coordinates. The y coordinate is the distance of that point from the x-axis, and the x coordinate is the distance of that point from the y-axis. Okay, so our vertical strip, okay, touches 2 points on these two curves. So the lower end of the vertical strip touches the lower curve at this point, and the upper end of the vertical strip touches the upper curve at this point. So to get the length of this vertical strip, so we use the y coordinates of those points. So for the lower end, we label it as y sub l. Okay, so the distance again from the x-axis of this point is the y coordinate of that point. So y sub l. And for the upper end, so we use y sub u. Okay, so it's again the y coordinate of this point here where the upper end of the vertical strip lies. Okay, it's the y coordinate. So meaning the length of this vertical strip is the difference between these two values. So it's y upper minus y lower. And we're going to multiply it with the width of the vertical strip, which we label as dx. And for the limits, so the area is bounded by the two curves from this point to this point. So since our thickness is dx, meaning the variable of integration is x, so our limits must be x values. So the x coordinate of this point and the x coordinate of this point. So let's say we label the x value here as a and b for the second point. So our area would be the integral of y sub u minus y sub l times dx from a to b. We can also use a horizontal strip instead of a vertical one, especially if our functions are in terms of y. So as you can see here, we have x sub r meaning right, and x sub l meaning left. Okay, so let's say this is the horizontal strip that represents all other strips. Okay, so we get its length and its width. So its width is dy and its length would be similar as the previous slide. So we get the distance of this point here from the y-axis. So take note that the upper, or rather the right end of the horizontal strip touches this right curve and the left end touches this left curve. Okay, so this distance from the y-axis is the x-coordinate of this point here. So we label it as x sub r. And for this one, the distance of this point here from the y-axis is labeled x sub l. So the length, therefore, of the horizontal strip is the difference between the two values. And we use the limits that are y coordinates of this point, which is labeled C, and for the other point, labeled D. Okay, and again, the product of the length of the strip and its width evaluated from C to D. So this x sub r minus x sub l is the length of the horizontal strip. So for example, find the area under the curve y plus x squared from x equals 1 to x equals 3. Okay, so let's first draw the given curve. So since only one variable is being squared, so this is a parabola. So let's recall, okay, the standard equations for parabolas. So for opening upward or downward, so it's the x variable that's going to be squared. So on the left side, we have x minus h quantity squared, and then equals either positive or negative 4 times a times y, the other variable. Okay, so y minus k. So positive if upward and negative if downward, and then for right or left. So this time it's the y that's going to be squared, and also positive or negative 4 times a times x minus h, where a is the distance from the vertex to the focus of the parabola, and the coordinates h and k are the values of h and k are the coordinates of the vertex of the parabola, right? So let's transform that y equals x squared into standard form. So it's going to be x minus 0 quantity squared. There's no x term, so h is 0. And then that's y minus 0. So there's no constant term. So the k value is 0, meaning the vertex of the parabola is at 0, 0, or at the origin. And the value of a, for a, for a, which is the numerical coefficient of the y term here, it's 1y. So its value is just equal to 1. So a therefore is 1/4. So we need the vertex and the a value to draw the parabola, which opens upward, by the way, because the y term here on the right side of the equation is positive. So the vertex is at 0, 0. So let's label the Cartesian plane first. So let's say this is, just we need the 1/4. So we'll have two main boxes here for 1 unit. And then, okay. So you'll be needing 1, 2, 3. So we'll make the boxes smaller. So let this be 1 unit, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4 for the negative x-axis. So we have negative 1, 2, negative 3, negative 4. And then on the y-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the negative 1 values, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Make sure to label your Cartesian plane. Okay, you may use a graphing paper or a cross-section paper. And let's now plot the vertex, which is at the origin, 0, 0. And the distance from the vertex to focus is 1/4. So for a parabola opening upward, the focus is above the vertex. So that's 1/4. So I cannot zoom in the this part. So let's just estimate. So this is 1/2, and this is 1/4. And then from the focus, you count 2 times A units to the right and also to the left. So basically 4 times A is the distance between 2 points on the parabola. Okay, so a 1/4 times 2 is 1/2. So we're going to have 1/2 unit to the right of the focus and also to its left. So you have another 2 points. So you're going to connect, okay, these 2 points, the 3 points, including the vertex, okay, with a smooth curve. So that on the first quadrant and the other one on the second quadrant. So it's will extend infinitely upward, okay? And then let's extend this further because we need x equals 3. So it's okay if it's not symmetrical anyway. We're after the area, okay, from x sub 1 only to x sub 3. So it's from this area here and then up to this area here only. Okay, so we're going to get the area here. Okay, so bounded by this parabola and it says under the curve. So the other curve that sets the boundary is the x-axis. So it's this area here. Okay, so meaning our upper curve is the parabola and the lower curve is the x-axis. Okay, so again, the upper curve, so we label this as y sub u x squared, y equals x squared, and then for the lower curve, okay, so we have the x-axis whose equation is y equals 0. Okay, so the equation of the y-axis is y equals 0 for the x-axis, or rather, the equation of the x-axis is y equals 0, and for the y-axis, it's x equals 0. So the x-axis is our lower curve, so let's use a letter L for the subscript. Okay, so let me rewrite that. Wait, so y sub L is 0. Okay, then for the vertical strip, so it would be easy to use a vertical strip for this one because we have the upper and the lower curves. So if both types of strips are possible, so you must be um, wise in selecting. So make sure that you're going to have a shorter solution. Okay, so for this one, it would be best if our strip is vertical since our function is already expressed as y equals x squared. So we don't need to get the square root or perform other operations just to write y upper or y lower. Okay, so if you have no choice, then must perform some operations to get y or x depending on what is needed. Okay, so for this one, it's just y sub u minus y sub l for the length of the vertical strip. So y sub upper minus y sub lower, and for the thickness, we'll use x. Okay, so meaning our limits should be x values. So the area that is required is from x equals 1 and x equals 3 only. So not this area, not this area, not the area after 3. It's this from x sub 1 to x sub 3 only. So meaning our lower limit would be x equals 1 and the upper limit would be x equals 3. So if we're going to write the definite integral, so area is the integral of y upper minus y lower. Okay, so let me copy from the previous slide, okay, the formula. And then we have upper, which is x squared, and lower, which is 0, okay, dx. And then from 1 to 3. So integrating, we get x cubed over 3, and we evaluate from 1 to 3. So we get 3 cubed over 3 minus 1 cubed over 3. So that's 27 over 3 or 9 minus 1/3, or that's 26 over 3. And since it's area, so the unit is square units. Okay, so the area under the given curve from x of 1 equals, or x equals 1 to x equals 3 is 26 over 3 square units. Find the area bounded by the curve y equals x cubed plus 1 and the y-axis from y equals -7 to y equals 0. So we have here a cubic equation. So we're going to find the critical values first and see if there's a maximum or a minimum point or an inflection point. So by differentiating with respect to x to get the critical values, so we have 2x squared. So the critical values, the slope of the function is 0. So equate this to 3x squared. So solving for x, it's 0. This is the critical value. And using second derivative test to see if there is a maxima or minima or an inflection point. So if y prime is 3x squared, then y double prime is 6x. Plug in the critical value. So we get a y prime equal to 0, which indicates that there's no maxima or minima, but possibly an inflection point. So we verify by solving for the third derivative, which is equal to 6. So if the third derivative is not 0, therefore we confirm that at the critical value, x equals 0, there is an inflection. Okay, the point where the concavity of the function changes from concave downward to concave upward or upward to downward. All right, so we need the y coordinate of the inflection points. We have here 0 for the x coordinate. So at x equals 0, solve for y is x cubed plus 1 or 0 cubed plus 1. So y coordinate of the inflection point therefore is 1. So it's 0, 1. So we can plot that in the Cartesian plane. So let's label this first. So we need y value that would be -7 as far as -7. So we'll have a 2-unit interval here on the y-axis to get -7 later, and then 2, 4, 6, 8 for the positive y-axis. Use the same interval for the x-axis, so 2, 4, 6, 8, and -2, 4, -6, and -8. So we can plot now the inflection point at 0, 1. So it's right here. And then for the other points, okay, so since there's no maxima or minima, then we'll make use of the points here. So these are the boundaries. So we can use them to find more points for the y equals x cubed plus 1, right? So at y equals 0, so for x, so 0 equals x cubed plus 1. So by um, transferring the 1 to the left side, is -1 equals x cubed. So cube root of x, cube root of x cubed, or cube root of -1 is -1. Okay. There is another um set of x values if I equate this to 0, but it would lead to complex or um imaginary numbers. Okay, so only x equals -1 would give a real number, and then for y, y equals -7, so 0 equals x cubed, or rather -7 equals x cubed plus 1. So that would be -8 on the left side. If we transfer 1 to the left side, equals x cubed. So cube root of -8 is -2. So the value here is -2 if y is -7. So we have two more points. Okay, -1, 0, and -2, -7. So here. So our graph, okay, looks like this. So it would be decreasing towards the -2, -7 point. Okay, so it's concave downward, so meaning after the inflection point, it's going to be concave upward. So there's no maximum point, so it will extend infinitely upward and will also extend infinitely downward. And make sure that the curves are smooth. Okay, do not connect the lines, the points using lines. Okay, but except of course if it's linear. Okay, this is cubic, so it should be a smooth curve. Wait, stop. Sorry. So going back to drawing the smooth curve, so you can use a pencil, a colored pencils, colored pens in drawing your functions, your curves. Okay. And then, so after the inflection point, although it's not necessary, since we're after only the area here from -7 to 0. So just in case you need to graph or to include the other parts of your function. So we expect a change in concavity. Okay, after reaching the inflection point, so it's going to be concave upward. Okay, after x equals 0, and it will extend infinitely upward. So back to the area. So we're going to start from here at x equals or y equals -7 up to y equals 0. Okay, so it's going to be this area only. Okay, so from -7 to 0, and of course this y-axis. So since there's already a hint that we're going to use y values for the limits, So that indicates that we're going to use a horizontal strip and not a vertical one. If there are cases wherein you can do both, but make sure to use, of course, the more convenient one, wherein you will have a shorter solution. Okay, if you're going to use vertical strip here, it's not possible since it does not touch, okay, the y equals x cubed plus 1. Okay, so it should touch other curves also, so it should be horizontal strip for this example. Alright, so you can draw the horizontal strip anywhere you like. Okay, make sure that it touches one point on this left curve and at least one point on the other side, okay, which is the y-axis. Again, okay, this is the area that we're going to solve. All right. So, let me change the color. So it's going to be here and here, okay, for our limits later. And then since we have a horizontal strip, so the length would be x sub r minus x sub l, okay, and then the thickness would be dy, right? So our right curve is the y-axis, which is also a line. So it has a linear equation, which is um, x equals 0. Okay, or that's the right curve. So we label it as x of r equals 0. And this blue curve, okay, is the y equals x cubed plus 1. And since we'll be using x sub L, so we need to solve for x from this equation. So it's going to be cube root of y minus 1, okay, or that's y minus 1 quantity raised to the power of 1/3 for cube root. All right, so our area would now be the integral of x sub r minus x sub L, so it's 0 minus the cube root of y minus 1, okay, dy, and then from lower value of y, which is -7, to the upper limit, which is 0. So since the area is to the left of the y-axis, so that's why you have a negative sign here, 0 minus something, so meaning negative. So you can put a negative sign outside. So it's negative of y minus 1 raised to the power of 1/3 dy. If we're going to integrate this using simple substitution, u is y minus 1, so d is just equal to dy. So it would lead to u to the power of 1/3 plus 1, or 4/3. Okay, or we'll just write it as y minus 1 raised to the power of 4/3 without showing the simple substitution process, so that we don't need to change the limits. Okay, so it's u to the power of 4/3 over 4/3. So we evaluate from -7 to 0. Okay, or that's -3 over 4. And then y minus 1 raised to the power of 4/3 from -7 to 0. Or that's basically, if we simplify the fractional exponent, so that's basically y minus 1 and then times cube root of y minus 1. y minus 1 raised to the power of 1/3. Okay, so at x equals, or rather y equals 0, so that's 0 minus 1, and let's just write it as cube root. I think it would be easier. Cube root of 0 minus 1, and then subtract 0 minus 7 minus negative 7. It's 0, no, sorry. Negative 7 minus 1, it's negative 8. So I'll just write negative 8 times cube root of negative 8. So negative 3/4 times, this is negative 1 times negative 1, so that's positive 1. And then we have cube root of negative 8 is negative 2 times negative 8, so that's positive 16. And then with the negative sign, so negative 16. Okay. So we have 1, sorry, 1 plus 16. Negative 1 times negative 1, that's positive 1. And then minus, sorry, 1 minus 16. 1 minus 16, or that's negative 15, right? And that's negative or positive 45 over 4 square units. So the area is 45 over 4 square units. If you're allowed to use a calculator, then you can just input that, okay, definite integral, and then you'll get 45 over 4 square units. Find the area bounded by the curves x squared equals 4y, x plus y equals 8, and y equals 0. 0. Sorry. So x squared equals 4y is a parabola which opens upward. So we have the standard form x minus h quantity squared, or since there's no x term, so let's see, x minus 0 quantity squared, and then 4 times y minus k, or y minus 0, since there's no constant term. Therefore, the vertex is at 0, 0. And for a is equal to 4, or a is just equal to 1. Okay, there are cases wherein it's not necessary to solve for a and locate the focus, especially if there are other curves that are involved in setting the boundary, okay, of the area. So what's more important is the intersection point of the curve and the two curves, or maybe three. All right. So let's see if we need this information. Okay. But for sure, vertex is important. So it's at the origin. And then we have x plus y equals 8. So it's a line. Okay, the equation is linear. So if we graph that, it forms a line. Okay, a diagonal line. So we need at least 2 points to form a line. So the faster way is to get the intercepts. So at x equals 0, solve for y. So if x is 0, y is 8. And then at y equals 0, solve for x. So x is 8 if y is 0. So we have 2 points, 0, 8, and 8, 0. So we can solve for the intersection points of the parabola and the line. And we'll just use substitution method. So we can solve for y from this equation. So it's 8 minus x. And then we'll plug this into the parabola. Okay, it's x squared equals 4y. So y from the line is 8 minus x. And then we solve for the values of x. So x squared equals 32 minus 4x. And it's x squared plus 4x minus 32. So by factoring, we have x and x. And then for 32, we can have 8 and negative 4. So the inner terms product is 8x, outer terms negative 4x. So the sum is positive 4x. So these are the correct factors. So equate each term to 0. So for x, so x equals negative 8 and x equals positive 4. And then solve for the corresponding values of y at x equals negative 8. So y is um, 8 minus x. So 8 minus negative 8, or that's 8 plus 8, or 16. And at x equals 4, so y is 8 minus 4, or 4. So we have these intersection points. Okay, so we can now plot these points, starting off with the line. So 0, 8. So our largest number here is 16. So we'll have an interval of 4. So 4, 8, 12, 16. And then negative 4, 8, negative 12, negative 16. Same interval for the x-axis. And then we plot the points for the line. So we have 0, 8, 0, 8, 8, 0 for the lines. And then for the intersection points, so we have negative 8, 16, where we'll know where should the line pass through, and also the parabola. And then for 4 also is another intersection points. So yes, these red points are linear, are collinear with the blue points. Therefore, the solutions are correct. So if we draw the line, okay, connecting these points and hoping to draw a straight line. Anyway, make sure to use a ruler or pencil first, or colored pens if it's colored pens, or letter illustration, assuming that this is already a straight line. And then for the vertex of the parabola, which is at the origin, 0, 0. So for the parabola, do not use a ruler, okay, because we need smooth curves for parabolas. So it's going to be passing through this on the first, what do you call this, quadrants, and The other quadrants, second quadrant is through that second red point. But take note that we have a third equation here, which is y equals 0. Okay, it's not um only these two curves here, so including this third curve, which is the x-axis, by the way, which is y equals 0. So it is included in the boundaries. So meaning the area that we are looking for, okay, is this sort of triangular part here. So there's no need actually to extend the parabola, okay, intersect it with the line over here since we're after this region, okay, or this area. So it's okay if di mo tiwason dito. Okay, so just focus on this part. So we have three curves, red, blue, and green. Okay, and what type of strip should we use? Okay, so we're going to use vertical. So it's going to be red and green, but on this part it will be blue and green. So we need two solutions, two areas, and then just add them after to get the total area. If you're going to use a horizontal strip, okay, it's blue and red, blue and red, blue and red. So it's consistent blue and red for the right and the left curves. Okay, so the green line, okay, the x-axis will just serve as a limit. Okay, so it's from this part here until this part here where y is equal to 4. So we'll use, okay, a horizontal strip. Okay, a horizontal strip. So again, make sure that both ends of your strip touch, okay, the curves. That's a requirement. So since this is a horizontal strip, so we're going to use ADY for its thickness, and for the right curve, which is the line, okay, solving for x, okay, for x plus y equals 8, so x is 8 minus y, and then for the right curve, it's the red one, the parabola. So from y or x squared equals 4y. So x is square root of 4y. Take note that it's quadratic, so there are two values, positive and negative square root of 4y, or that's 2 square root of y. So for this right part of your parabola, okay, you have positive x values, while for the left end, you have the negative x values. So make sure to use the correct sign. Okay, so it should be on the first quadrant, so x values here should be positive. So from x squared equals 4y, so for x, so x is square root of 4y, positive square root of 4y, or square root of 4 is just equal to 2, and then times square root of y. So these are the curves that we're going to use in finding the area. So now find the area. Okay, integral of, that's right. Sorry. The red one is left, not right. So let me correct that. So this should be x sub L. So right minus left. So that's 8 minus y minus 2 square root of y, or that's y to the power of 1 half. Okay, and for the limits, for the limits, okay, we get Um, from this y equals 0, and here for the upper limit where y is equal to 4. So that's 0 to 4. And integrating, so you have 8y minus 1 half y squared, and then 2 square root of y, or that's y to the power of 1 half. So that becomes y to the power of 3 halves all over 3 halves, or that's minus 4 thirds y to the power of 3 halves. And evaluate from 0 to 4. So that's 8 times 4 minus 1 half times 4 squared minus 4 thirds. 4 raised to the power of 3 halves. And just 0 for the next part, right? So don't need to write that. So it's 32 minus 16 over 2, that's 8. And then 4 to the power of 3 halves, or that's 4 and square root of 4, that's 8. Okay. Or square root of 4 is 2, and then raised to the power of 3, so that's 8 times 4 thirds, so 32 over 3. So minus 32 over 3, or that's 24 times 3, so 72 minus 32, that's 40. So 40 over 3, okay, square units. So the area bounded by the given curves is 40 over 3 square units.